Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
I'm Dana.
And I'm Brady.
Welcome, Brady. Why don't you tell everybody what we're here to talk about, Brady?
We are here to talk about Ghostbusters.
I should have said, who were you going to call, Brady? That probably would have been funnier.
That would have been good.
Oh, well, here we are. Ghostbusters, rated PG. Running time, 1 hour and 45 minutes. Released June 8th, 1984. Directed by Ivan Reitman. Passed away in 2022. Age 75. Natural causes.
I didn't even remember Ivan Reitman being dead. I
remember him passing, yeah.
Ivan Reitman, I didn't even remember that. So COVID? Is that what we're saying?
It says natural causes, but I think that's what they do for COVID now. They put that in their bios, yeah. But besides Ghostbusters, can you tell me anything else that Ivan Reitman directed?
Part 2.
Ghostbusters 2.
I don't know if he did. That's not his top 4.
He definitely did.
I guess I should say that's in his top 4.
He did Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day, because that was
Groundhog Day didn't make it.
Oh, wow. Because that's what ruined his and Bill Murray's relationship after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh,
Remind me to talk about Bill Murray.
Oh, you know what? You know what? I take that back. I think Harold Ramis directed Groundhog Day, and that's what ruined his relationship with Bill Murray. But Ivan Reitman directed Private Parts? Howard Stern's Private Parts?
Did he? Possibly.
Man, now I'm not sure. He was involved in it somehow. Maybe he produced it. Now that I think about it, I think a woman directed Private Parts. Man,
really?
Yeah,
I think a woman did do Private Parts.
Disappointed in her.
Saying that.
Well, did you ever see the movie?
I cannot stand Howard Stern.
Well, Howard Stern's a piece of shit now. I mean, I used to love him. I listened to him for like 25, 30 years.
I hated him back 25, 30 years ago.
Betty
Thomas, right. Okay. I think Ivan Reitman produced it or something like that. But Howard Stern is awful now. I mean, he's terrible. But the movie itself is like, he's such a nice guy in it. It's a love story to his wife and stuff like that.
Ivan Reitman is a producer on Private Parts.
So here's the thing about him. I didn't like him back in the day listening to his talk show. He was been on like America's Got Talent. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
I have no problem with him
he's a fake
now.
Nice guy. He's a fake nice guy, and surprisingly, he's also a fake mean guy. He's just a total fake. No matter which way you're looking at him, he's fake both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing the fall from grace that he's had over like the last 10 years.
His top 4, it's all producing credits.
Oh, really? Okay.
His top 4. So Ghostbusters made it in there. Up in the Air. It's a movie.
Oh,
his son,
was that George Clooney and
yes, it was
Anna
George
Kendrick?
Clooney, but it was also directed by his son, Jason Reitman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Heavy Metal.
Heavy Metal, the cartoon?
Yes,
the animated
Heavy
movie?
Metal, the cartoon, yes.
Oh, yeah, because like John Candy's in that and stuff like that. Right, yeah,
And
yeah.
Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
That's in his top 4?
Was that Sylvester Stallone?
Estelle Getty, one of the Golden
I kind of
Girls,
remember that. I think I saw that as a kid.
Good story I heard about that was...
I know this story. Before you even say it, I know this story.
Arnold Schwarzenegger saw the script for Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, and him and Sylvester Stallone were always like battling over parts at this time. So Schwarzenegger saw how shitty this was and said, I want this movie. And so Stallone said, I want this movie. And Schwarzenegger didn't want it, so he wasn't asking for it. So Stallone got it and then realized what it was.
And did it bomb?
Oh, it bombed. It was crap. Yeah.
I just looked up Ivan Reitman real quick because it was bothering me that I'm like, so what else did he direct? Meatballs, Stripes, Ghostbusters, Twins, Kindergarten Cop.
Yep, and Stop or My Mom Will Shoot made it into his top 4.
So
I was going to say, those are all great movies, but
he really had
those ones.
Heavy Metal's a good one, though.
Oh, okay.
Did you see Up in the Air?
Yeah, I did. I remember liking it. I saw it one time when it came out. But I remember liking it.
Yeah.
Oh, he directed Draft Day, too. Oh, man, what a terrible movie that was. Kevin Costner,
No.
GM of
I couldn't watch
Cleveland
it.
Browns. Oh, yeah, Cleveland Browns, yeah. It's like if I was watching a movie, I've never seen any of those crappy Eagle movies,
you
like
didn't see
Invincible or something like that. I would never watch that.
This is IMDb description. 3 parapsychologists forced out of their university funding set up shop as a unique ghost removal service in New York City, attracting frightened yet skeptical customers. They start off the movie with this theme song, which is like,
that's odd. It was like right in your face like that.
I think that song should have came at the end. It might have been better.
That's usually how they do those movies. Like it's the song as soon as as the movie ends, you go into the credits with that song.
Yeah.
It seemed odd. As soon as they started playing it,
But
I'm
it's
like,
so
this is right
ingrained
here.
in my head that when it started, I didn't even notice.
I'm
it. It was
surprised
like-
it's ingrained in your head because, I mean, we had MTV back in the day. They played that song.
Well, this movie, I was going to say.
But they could have played "Cleaning Up the Town," the Bus Boys. That was a song that was playing when
was
the
in
credits
there,
were
right?
rolling at the end.
I
there.
watched this movie so much as a kid.
Really?
But then I hadn't watched it in like 8 or 10 years until less than a month ago when I rewatched it.
So did
And I
you,
had
and
a
then you
whole
rewatched it
different-
now?
Yeah, like rewatching it, I had a whole different perspective on it. Like, it completely changed. But I already loved it because of watching
Yeah.
it as a kid.
Yeah.
Ivan Reitman also produced Animal House. That could have also been in his top 4 instead of Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Got some taglines for you. No spook, specter, or haunt will ever be safe again. Catching the undead is their life. It's not a pretty job, especially the way they do it, but somebody has to. There's some shitty taglines,
They
right?
didn't know how to write taglines in the 80s.
No.
They're here to save the world. Coming to save the world this summer. We're ready to believe you. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters.
That's the one that
Okay,
needed.
yeah.
Yeah.
They ain't afraid of no ghost. That's okay. And the world's most successful comedy. Maybe it was at the time, possibly.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I think I saw somewhere where it's like Columbia's or somebody, whoever produced this, whatever company did, it's still like their biggest,
Yeah.
like maybe didn't make the most money, biggest profit based
Okay.
on,
Yeah.
you know, inflation and all that stuff.
We'll get right into the cast, starting off with Bill Murray. I just want to say right now, I think Bill Murray is one of the most overrated actors / comics, playing Dr. Peter Venkman.
I agree with you. Like, I love Groundhog Day. I
love
Stripes.
Caddyshack.
I love Caddyshack. When I was watching him in this movie, I'm like,
He's a dick.
does Bill Murray not know how to play an asshole? Like, that's just him. Like,
He's so
when
good
you
at
see
it,
him
though.
as Phil Connor in Groundhog Day,
Yeah.
he's not acting. That's just Bill
him.
Murray acting like Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like a little put off by him in this movie. I'm like, I'm not laughing at the way his antics in this movie. I'm just like, ugh, you're just kind of
His
a gross
antics
person.
with
Sigourney,
Dana
like,
were they were
immediately.
yeah.
He was a dick to Dana's friend, the other musician.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, I didn't get to meet you. Like,
Yeah,
you wouldn't have been. You're not gonna
Yeah.
act like that. I'm sorry. Like I said, I enjoy some of his movies, but
I'm sure we'll get into it already, but Dan Aykroyd wrote that part with John Belushi in mind. And I think this movie would be even better with because I like this movie a lot. John Belushi in that part, it would have been better. Would have been
Yeah.
a better
and
movie.
also the Ernie Hudson role was written for Eddie Murphy.
Oh, I love Ernie Hudson though.
And Eddie Murphy.
He was too big for
yeah,
this
he would have
part,
gotten
right?
lost in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't
But they
show up
also
till halfway
changed it
through.
too. Winston had a lot more of a role.
Oh, so he would probably
Oh,
Freddie
okay.
Murphy when it became Ernie Hudson.
it was
they
Yeah.
changed it out.
him from the
Yeah.
start, probably.
And
yeah,
wasn't
okay.
John Candy supposed to be Rick Moranis' character?
Yes, he
Oh,
was.
I've
Oh,
never heard that
really?
one.
Yes,
Okay.
he was. But he had too many weird demands. He wanted to have the character have like a German accent and have 2 dogs. But he said with everything else, when they turn into the dogs,
I think
Yeah.
it's too much
dog,
better. Rick
yeah.
Moranis was perfect.
Oh my
in
God,
that
he's
role.
amazing.
he's amazing.
Oh, I loved
I
him
loved
in this.
him. I- me too.
I miss Rick Moranis.
Me
I
too.
wish he would come
And
back.
I looked up his IMDb last night just to be like, what's he been? I know like he voiced Dark Helmet in Goldberg's, like for a one-off kind of thing. I'm like, what's he done over? Like he's done nothing
Yeah,
for
he
like
quit.
25 years.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, what? Just do it, man.
Him
Come
and
back.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I
That
love
whole-
that
the
movie
whole
so
se-
much.
the, whole series
Honey,
I
I blew
enjoyed,
up
yeah.
the kids. We shrunk ourselves. Like the whole thing. I love.
Those
Rick
were fun
Moranis.
movies. I like them.
But
Yeah.
that scene at his party where he's just like, he's like, the Savins.
Wait, we're talking about Bill Murray.
Oh yeah, okay.
We're talking about Bill Murray.
I'm sorry.
Do we want to try
How
Bill
do we get
Murray's
to
top 4?
Have we done Bill Murray yet? I feel like we've done him already. Oh, did we do Caddyshack? We
We
did
didn't watch
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
We didn't do Caddyshack for this
I
podcast.
thought you did do
I think
I was
you
like,
did.
I think
when
we
you guys
did.
were going
I don't remember it.
Yeah, I don't remember it either. I
Because
mean,
it's 80, but
Caddyshack,
I think you guys did it when you were doing like movies that weren't.
I don't think we
that
did.
year.
Man, I
Oh, did you
feel
not?
like we talked about Bill Murray already. But anyway, what?
Oh,
Bill
maybe we
Murray's-
did, but it's a different movie. I mean, look. Keep talking. Yeah.
What else would have been like before? this?
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, that's not
Top
before
4.
this.
No, not his top 4.
Oh no,
No, it didn't make it.
Really?
Groundhog Day didn't make it. Huh?
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters did not make it. No,
Oh my God.
Stripes.
Stripes.
What about Bob?
Caddyshack?
nobody's gotten anything.
Wow,
else.
Oh
so
my
it's
God.
it's all this shit like Lost in Translation
Oh,
and all
yeah,
that
Lost
new
in
stuff.
Lost in Translation is in there.
Rushmore
Yes.
or
Oh, one of those
those
movies
Wes
like.
Anderson
Rushmore is in
movies.
there,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was gonna say
Oh,
yeah.
Life Aquatic.
Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou is in
Oh
there.
my
Yes.
Oh, I love
gosh.
that movie.
And then Moonrise Kingdom. We didn't do
Kingdom.
Tootsie.
I don't know what that is.
That's
We
another
would have
Wes
done it in
Anderson
'82. We
movie.
would have done
Oh, okay.
Tootsie.
My mom wanted to do it. Yeah,
We didn't do
yeah,
Tootsie
yeah.
because we didn't get to it, but that's Square Pegs is the only other thing, and that was a TV show from in between '82 and '84.
I feel like you guys did them before. I guess not.
I don't think we did Caddyshack or Stripes,
No, we definitely didn't do Stripes.
and we didn't do Meatballs.
I say that not knowing that.
I've never seen any
Oh,
of
he's
those
in Royal
movies, by the way.
Tenenbaums too. He's in a ton of Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those.
I'm not a fan of it either.
Yeah.
Yeah, me at all. That-
Playing.
Oh, really? I love Wes
Do
Anderson.
you love it? Yeah, I can't get into them. I'm sorry. Just
I watched that Astro City or whatever.
Aykroyd City.
Might have been the worst movie I've ever sat through in my life. In my life.
Did you like it, Brady?
I did like it. Yeah. My favorite is Life Aquatic. I
That-
love,
I
I
didn't
love
see
that
that
one.
one.
Yeah,
Or
that's-
no, Royal Tenenbaums is probably my favorite. But that's a whole.
I like Rushmore. I think that's probably my favorite one. The first one.
And
I
another
think,
Bill
right?
Murray. Yeah.
Schwartzman.
I think I saw that one.
Jason Schwartzman, yeah.
He was the nurse or something. Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd played Dr. Raymond Stantz. This is not our first Dan
No, we
Aykroyd.
did Trading
Right?
Places.
We did Trading Places.
Right,
Yeah.
That's
right,
correct.
right.
Yes, that is not in his top four. It was Ghostbusters, both Blues Brothers, which I find ridiculous.
Oh.
Blues Brothers
Yeah.
2001? Really? Ugh.
They're just 2000.
Or 2000.
And then nothing-
Sorry, it was Chronic 2001.
Nothing But Trouble was the other.
Oh my God. Terrible funny movie. Chevy Chase, Demi Moore,
Yeah.
John Candy.
Playing Dana Barrett was Sigourney Weaver. This is our first Sigourney Weaver movie.
Did we do Alien?
We did not.
She was gorgeous.
She is made.
Oh my God, gorgeous.
She's tall too. She's 6
Yeah.
foot. She's 6 foot. I looked her up.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
She's like one of those people that, like, I think I always thought of her as Ripley from Alien, and she's not hot as Ripley
Yeah.
as Alien. I
Yeah.
think I've always thought of her that way, but she was smoking in this movie.
Oh my God,
I
beautiful.
was so Alien and Aliens are like two of my favorite movies ever, and I had no idea I forgot, like, because when I watched it as a kid, I didn't know who Sigourney Weaver was. So then
Yeah.
rewatching it, I was like, well, I didn't even realize she was in the movie. When she popped up, I was so happy.
The scene where they're walking away at the end, when Rick Moranis and her are walking away together, and she is like a foot and a half taller than him.
Yeah.
I was like, that is a great. That's why it's so much better that it's not John
he kept walking
Candy.
in the hallway too when he was walking next to her.
Yeah.
He was like trying to make himself taller and just like.
Because
okay,
John Candy's probably her height. It wouldn't have been as funny with
Yeah.
John
No.
Candy.
Okay, you guys should stop by anyway.
When
Yeah.
she's possessed and Bill Murray comes to the apartment, that is like she is so good in
Where
that.
she
Yeah.
levitates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he caught on real quick though. He was like, "Are you the keymaster?" Second time he was like, "Yes."
Yes.
Yeah. So her top four was Alien Resurrection, Avatar, Alien, and Gorillas in the Mist.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she does play. Is that
Oh, she's an Avatar.
Jane Goodall
Playing
or
Dr.
Diane Fossey? I always get those two
Yeah.
mixed up. One of those monkey ladies.
Playing Dr. Egon Spengler was Harold Ramis. Passed in 2014, age 69. Complications from an autoimmune inflammatory vasculitis.
Sounds like
Jeez.
COVID to me. Before COVID was popular, he was an early adopter. Harold Ramis. So
I don't think I've seen him in anything other than Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
You saw
he's a director too.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, so he directed
Yeah.
You saw him in
Groundhog Day.
Stripes.
I never saw Stripes.
Never saw Stripes?
he's
Oh.
in Groundhog Day. He's the
Is he?
doctor that he goes
Oh.
to get, when he
I
first
think I remember
starts-
that, yeah.
When he first
Okay.
starts having the callback days.
Maybe
But he
you
directed
remember him
it.
from Knocked Up.
I saw Knocked Up.
Yeah, he is.
I forget who he is in that though. Is he a doctor in that too?
Is he the doctor? Is he Katherine Heigl's dad? I forget now, but he's definitely in that. Yeah.
Up next we have Louis Tully, played by Rick Moranis. Now we can do all that talk that you guys are doing.
He's just so good in it.
He's
He's
so
so
good.
awesome.
You want to try his top four? We have done Rick Moranis movie already.
Oh,
now.
you
Did
have.
you do Spaceballs?
No, we haven't. I'm waiting to see if Andy can get it.
His top four of the movie.
It's in the top four, and the
It's
movie
in the
we
top
did. Yeah.
four. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Was I on for it?
I can't remember if you were or not. I think
Oh,
you were.
she was not. Wasn't Kevin on because it was a Canadian movie? Strange
Yeah,
Brew.
yeah.
Kevin was on
Oh,
that one.
Strange Brew, okay.
Yeah.
That was when Brian was still on then.
And,
Yeah.
and we had Kevin on via satellite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. that
Hello
was a good
again,
one.
Kevin. He hasn't been on with you. Yeah, we got to get Brian on so he can have Kevin
Yeah.
on
And
with you.
he
Yeah.
finally liked an Instagram post. It just so happened to be the one that Brian was back for. I was like,
Yeah, I see.
So Strange Brew is in his top four, along with Ghostbusters. Give me his other two.
Honey, I Shrunk the Something.
No.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Well, I'm
None
just
of
saying,
those-
Honey, I
blew
Blew Up the Baby.
None of those made it into the top 4.
Spaceballs, the movie.
Audrey,
Spaceballs, the movie, did make it, yes.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Did not make it, but that's a good one,
I
yeah.
love that movie.
Steve Martin's in this movie also.
He's not in Three Amigos.
I was going to say Three Amigos. He's in there?
No, he's not.
No, but he's also in Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah.
The only time he's got black hair. Oh, no, he has it in
Parenthood.
Oh, Parenthood.
Oh. I don't remember.
He's in that, huh?
Oh, he's
I've never watched
They
it.
have the smart. Yep. He's one of the parent
Martin
groups.
Short's
Yeah,
in it,
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Martin Short's
Okay.
like the wedding planner or whatever. Oh, my God, it's a good movie.
Yeah, up next we got Annie Potts playing Janine Melnitz.
I loved Annie
she's
Potts
great
back
in this.
then.
I love her.
loved
Yeah,
her
she's
in
cute.
Designing Women.
She's really
and
cute.
In
Yes.
this, yeah.
I felt like I should know who she is because I remember, Annie Potts is in this movie. I'm like, cool. And then I
Yeah.
was kind of looking her up. And I'm like, all right, she was a voice in Toy Story, but I,
I
don't
think it
really
was
know
just
her.
that
I
and
don't know anything
Designing
else by
Women.
her.
163 episodes of Designing.
I
Yeah.
never watched Designing Women. I
Oh
didn't
my
watch
God,
any
I
of those
love
women
that.
shows back then. Golden Girls, Designing
But she was in
Women.
pretty, she was in Pretty in Pink.
Oh,
was?
yeah. She
Really?
worked in
Wow.
did she work in the same place as the main girl, right?
I
They
don't
worked
remember
together?
exactly, but I remember.
Pretty in Pink's one of those John Hughes movies that I'm not.
It's not my favorite
versed
either.
like all the rest
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Ducky's in that.
He
Is he?
is.
Is that, that's where he gets the name,
That's
John
Ducky.
Cryer, right? Yeah. And she was the voice of Bo Peep in all the Toy Story
Yeah, Toy
movies.
Story
Oh.
4 is the only one that made it
really?
into her.
Yeah.
Into the.
Because I remember, like, when they're like all doing the voice cast when it first came out, I'm like, oh, cool, Annie Potts. I love her. And then, like, I don't know why.
She should
was
have
in
done
this movie.
her.
That's
She
it.
should have done her Ghostbusters voice as
Oh,
Bo Peep
God.
in Toy Story.
I feel like Marissa Tomei watched her to get the accent for Mona Lisa Vito in
Yeah.
My Cousin Vinny because they had
Yeah.
that same kind of
Her
harsh
accent
New York
in-
accent.
In Designing Women, isn't that? I mean, it is different because they're in the South,
Southern, right?
but she still has that pitch to her voice.
I
that is
remember
that's
her from something
recognizable.
else.
I don't.
I remember from a 1978 classic with Mark Hamill,
Corvette Summer.
Corvette Summer.
Oh,
yeah.
I never heard of that.
No, Mark Hamill hasn't either.
It's a bad movie. But,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That was the first thing he did after Star Wars. I never saw it. I remember like thinking like that doesn't look like a Luke Skywalker movie. I'm out. I'm out.
Up next, playing Walter Peck was William Atherton. That's the redhead.
The EPA,
Oh, the
the
jerk,
EPA
the
guy.
guy, yeah.
Dickless.
I feel like he plays that kind of jerk.
Well,
I've
yeah,
seen him in
'cause
things.
He's like that in Die Hard.
He's the
wasn't he?
exact same
Yeah.
character in Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
Bill Murray being a dick to him was okay.
Yeah, it was fun. That was
okay.
That was
Well, that's
funny.
one of the best laughs in the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
That's
yeah,
what
when
I'm
he
saying.
says,
Is this
That's the thing.
true?
There is where it worked
Yes,
for Bill
this
Murray.
man has no dick.
So I just didn't want to give Bill Murray all negative. I do
Yeah.
enjoy him in some
but
things.
I think this guy, what's his name, William Peck. I'm not even sure what his real name
William
is.
Atherton
Oh,
is his real name.
what's
Walter Peck was the character.
I bet he's acting like a dick. Bill Murray is just a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
but I
agree
feel
with you
like he
there.
played not that guy, William Wilford, whatever, plays a dick in everything he's in.
Yeah.
But he's good at it.
But
But
yeah.
you hate him.
If Dana would have chose the correct movie, we would have saw one of his top 4. Real Genius.
Is he Real Genius?
William Atherton's in
I
Real
wonder what he's
Genius.
like in that. I have to see
That's
that
like
too.
a couple years from now, though, right? I feel like he's the antagonist. Is that
Is
the
he?
right word?
It is.
He's the
Uh,
bad
I
guy.
mean,
So
it's
obviously
a
he
word. I
was-
don't know if that's the word you mean, but yes, it is a word.
Obviously,
The bad guy.
you got Thornburg and Die Hard, Ghostbusters, Real Genius, and The Day of the Locust for William
Okay.
Atherton.
He sucks in Die Hard.
Oh
I mean,
my
he's
God.
good in it, but he sucks in it.
Up next was Dana's favorite, Winston Zeddemore, Ernie Hudson.
He is just so good
78
looking.
years young, Ernie Hudson.
He's just buff. He looks so good now. He was in recently.
He might
had an
look better
ongoing
now
part in,
than he did in this.
Yeah, in,
He looks the same
Franklin
age.
Grace.
Black don't crack. There you go.
Yeah.
Insane.
Hey, you stole my line.
Well, we said it last week on the podcast too, so I said it then
And it was
too.
about Ernie Hudson,
We
too.
were talking
Yeah.
about how Buffy was.
Is he 78?
Yeah.
Jesus.
These guys are so old. Remember, this
Both
was
of his
40 years ago.
Ghostbusters made it into his top 4. And then The Crow.
The original The Crow, huh?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
he's
saw
in
that back in the day.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't get And
You
the
know
family
they're
business.
remaking The Crow.
Again.
I did see they're
did.
remaking it, yeah.
With who?
Skarsgård, I think, right? Is it
There was,
is it
yeah.
one of them?
Skarsgård? I can't remember
I think
who.
it might be one of the Skarsgårds.
Those guys
Dana
are
does
gone.
love a
I'll
Skarsgård.
double check.
I have no problems with any of the Skarsgårds.
I know you don't.
Better
Especially
watch out
Eric.
for those guns. There's an Eric.
He played an Eric.
Oh.
I was gonna say I didn't remember an Eric.
Alexander.
Skarsgård.
Eric.
it's Bill.
He played Eric in True Blood, which is where his first breakout role was.
Is Bill,
I didn't watch
Bill's
True
Pennywise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was in John Wick,
Right.
the new one.
But the other
Oh.
guy was the one that was in Succession and other stuff.
Alexander.
Yeah.
Alexander.
Oh,
And-
he's so good.
And Stellan's
Yeah.
not their dad, right? He's their uncle or something like that.
Yeah.
They're not his kids.
He's good. I
Yeah.
like him.
he's great. Everything he's into. It's good looking family.
Playing the mayor was David Margulies. I only put him in there because Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. He was in.
Was he in it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to think of what he was
He's
in.
in both Ghostbusters and Dress to Kill. He's also in.
Man, it's so funny because as soon as he popped up, I'm like, it's funny. Back in the mid '80s, there when we had a mayor of New York, they always tried to make him look like Ed Koch because that's not the only time where there's a movie in New York and they try to make him look. Ed Koch was the mayor of New York at the time. Very flamboyant, very outspoken,
Very loved.
He was very out there all the time. He knew what Ed Koch was, and as soon as I saw this guy, I'm like, oh, they're trying to make him look just like Ed Koch. Until the bishop came in and he kissed his hand. I'm like, oh, Ed Koch would have done that because Ed Koch was Jewish. I mean, you might have at least greeted him nicely, but he wouldn't have bowed down for the bishop.
Then we had Stephen Tash playing the male student that was guessing the pictures that Bill Murray was holding up.
Is he somebody? I didn't.
I only put him in there because the girl was Jennifer Runyon, the female student, and she was in Charles in Charge.
Oh, what?
And she was also
Was
Fate's.
she one of the kids in Charles?
She was one of
His girlfriends.
one of Chachi's
Chachi's
friends,
girlfriends. Okay.
And then she played the fake Cindy in a very Brady Christmas movie.
Really?
One of the movies, yeah.
Okay.
And and then she was in Up the Creek and The In Crowd.
Fake Cindy. I didn't know there were. I only knew of Fake Jan. I didn't know there was Fake Cindy too.
Yeah.
Okay. Very Brady Christmas? Was that
that's one I enjoyed it because it's one where they get all the kids to come home.
Okay.
And that was when Mike
gets
was in
stuck
danger.
the building.
Yes. And they all
start singing.
Yeah.
I don't think I know that one. I don't know.
The singing brings him out of the building. I think they're all are they singing Christmas carols?
It's a Christmas
and
song.
then he is stuck and he gets out of the building.
And he just starts reading some things shuffling around, and all of a sudden Mike comes walking out some dust on him.
Now was Jan back for that one? Eve Plum Jan?
Eve Plum was in that one,
Okay,
yeah.
Cindy
And
Cooper.
her and Philip were breaking up.
Oh, this was
That's right.
Oh.
Philip. That's right. I got the name right.
This is-
Philip with her husband.
This is after Brady Brides. This is after the Brady Brides TV show because I watched
Philip.
that.
She was dating. She was married to Philip, and they were getting divorced.
Because Jan and Marcia got married on the same
Yeah,
day.
I remember that.
On the pilot episode.
In his first acting credit, I have Larry King playing Larry King.
Yeah, Larry King playing Larry King. Casey Kasem was
Yeah.
playing Casey Kasem.
Can you wait?
And
Look at
Joe
them.
Franklin was playing Joe Franklin. Sorry, I just saw them all.
just stole your thunder.
Let's
Let's pretend like we didn't hear it.
Sorry.
Can you give me anything else that Larry King was in? Ghostbusters didn't make it into his top 4.
Jeez, I don't remember him acting. I just remember him
Well,
on
yeah,
that
but
scene.
But he
in
just
Joe
plays.
for
He
Forever.
plays himself in everything he's in,
Mostly,
right?
yeah, I believe so.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, he's not capable of moving.
He was Larry King in this.
By the way, the smoking in this movie was awesome.
Your son just asked your other son to go to see this in the theater.
Shrek 2.
Inception?
Shrek 2,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he's the ugly stepsister, right? Yeah.
Is he really?
He was also a voice in the B movie,
Okay.
and he was also an enemy of the state. I guess he must have been on the TV.
Oh,
I bet he plays Larry King in the B movie, or
Yeah.
Larry Sting, or some
Yeah,
kind of
silly like that.
I'm so
pun.
mad. I feel like I should remember him from the B movie.
I mean, with Jerry Seinfeld now. But yeah, the smoking in this. There were scenes where
How about the cigarette that
Dan
Dan
Aykroyd,
Aykroyd
they were
In the
talking
library,
and
yeah.
dangling out of their mouth as they're talking.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is great. I love seeing smoking
I like
in
that
movies.
too.
It's
For some
so
reason.
good.
I don't even
man.
like cigarettes, but I love
Yep.
seeing it.
But there were so many scenes where everybody was just smoking. I was like, damn, that's nice.
Yeah.
So we get the voice of
He's so
Casey
good.
Kasem.
Yeah.
We don't only get the voice. We don't get to see him, but we
Right.
do see his wife a little
Yes.
later.
Yeah.
She's at the party.
Yeah.
Yep.
The tall blonde lady at the party. She
Another-
speaks to him. I don't know. She says something, but
Yeah, he tries to get her.
She-
She starts
she liked
dancing.
him.
Yeah, because she starts dancing
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And he says, "Oh, I gotta go real quick."
She's like,
"The
"Oh."
doorbell." I
Yeah.
gotta go. Reginald Vell Johnson playing the jail guard. You may know him as the father from Family Matters.
Okay.
He's the jail guard.
Oh,
He's the guard in the jail.
guy from Die Hard.
Mr. Winslow?
He's also in Die Hard. Yes.
God,
Mr. Winslow.
the cop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Al. Al.
I guess I missed that
He's a
part.
cop in Die
Wow, I
Hard.
did not
Okay.
see him.
How many episodes of Family Matters?
All of them.
Never watched
All
an
of them.
episode.
215.
There were 215. Holy shit!
My cousin Mike just did a rewatch of Family Matters.
Oh my god. Never watched.
I watched it.
How's Mike doing, man?
He's good.
What's his weight these days?
I don't know what his total is, but I know he's going for another surgery coming up to have some stuff removed.
Skin and stuff
And then,
like that.
Wow.
Good for
So
him.
good,
man.
Gene Kasem we mentioned.
When Casey Kasem died, the fight over his body was awesome with that,
That was
woman.
so weird.
Like,
Her and his kids.
they were like bringing it
They
from
kept saying,
place to
give us his body.
Yeah,
they wouldn't release his body.
They were moving it so
Yeah, I
the kids
remember
couldn't
that.
get to it and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Oh my god.
Billy Bryan played the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Okay.
And then I had two. Debbie Gibson was in the tavern on the green when they have that quick shot. She's in.
Like
she's
the
sitting,
Really?
scene at the end.
she's sitting in the table, not at the end. It's when
Debbie Gibson.
The Debbie Gibson.
I just
yeah.
brought her up earlier.
Was she anybody in it? She wasn't.
She was
anybody
just
by
real
this time,
quick to
right?
show her. And then there's a man standing behind a barricade. He's looking up at the end.
Oh,
Ron Jeremy.
Get out!
Porn star Ron Jeremy.
Porn
I have to
star
go
Ron
back and look.
Jeremy,
I
yeah.
would recognize him from
You
that
can
show
goo-
we watched,
You
right?
can Google Ron Jeremy in Ghostbusters, and you'll see the part. And
Yeah.
same with Debbie Gibson. If you Google it,
Remember
you'll see.
when he was in that show and he became friends with like Tammy Faye?
Yeah, it was.
Just to real life.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he was also in with Mini Me.
Was he in that
I
season?
think he was in with
And
him.
the brat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that all you have for
That's
cast?
it for the cast.
I
yeah.
have two other people.
I know you had more, but I
So
didn't get-
the first woman, the librarian at the beginning
Yeah.
that gets the thing. She's Ray Finkel's mom from Ace Ventura. Dan Marino should rot in hell.
I don't know that movie that well.
And then the dean that kicks out, dude, that fires them from the
Yeah.
thing. That's Mr. Angelino from Three's Company.
Yeah,
he
Three's
was
Company,
he was
yeah.
Jack
Oh.
Tripper's boss for like the last couple seasons of
I don't remember
Three's
him.
Company. But as soon as I saw him, I was like, "Hey, it's Mr. Angelino. Nice." I think that's it. And I had
25 minutes again on the
I had
cast.
Casey Kasem's wife at the party. I think that's it for the cast. I wasn't sure if you were going to get to her. Or
Yeah,
not.
so talk about this movie, kids. What do you think?
Oh, I love this movie. I love it. I mean, I didn't take many notes. Just,
Also, I
I've
want to
just
go
seen it
real
so many
quick. I
times.
gave some scores last week for Johnny Dangerously. They were incorrect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Thank
I
you.
Oh, the scores were wrong.
Yeah, I gave the Ghostbusters scores.
The actual scores more correctly reflected my scores.
You've ruined people. The people are like going back to watch John Hughes.
I have to
The
tell you,
critics
though-
love this movie. It's like a
I
95.
had a lot of comments on Facebook.
Did you? Nice.
And a lot of people were like quoting it and saying how much they enjoyed this movie. There's only one person that did not enjoy this movie that I know.
Yeah.
And
I didn't watch this movie.
I bet they were all men in their
Your
late
dad
40s.
loved it.
early
I think your
50s.
dad,
He
Absolutely.
loved
your dad
it.
gave it a 92.
Yeah, he talks.
Yeah.
He's been talking about it. Yeah.
So the scene in the kitchen where the eggs are exploding at the very beginning. I
Yes,
was like, hey,
they
there's
start-
a Stay Puft
they start
Marshmallow
going.
Man back there.
I never noticed that before.
Early appearance, I never noticed that either. But it just made me think when the eggs are exploding, I'm like, ghosts, they hate food. Because they were messing up all the food in Poltergeist too, when the meat turned to like maggots and stuff like that.
That scene is the
I was
worst.
like, man, I'm like, what is it with ghosts and
Yeah.
food?
Except they used the fridge as a portal.
Yeah.
Better than using the closet.
The
his closet.
he takes out a third mortgage on his house.
Oh, that-
for the,
that's-
That was great. That was great.
19% is the third mortgage. The interest rate for the first 5 years is $95,000.
Oh my God.
I mean, I want to see that house. What's that worth? So, what's his face? Winston said this job wasn't worth $11,500 a year.
Yeah, he did.
That's, I like to convert that to today. Like, so you're like 11.5. You're like, that's nothing. But like today, it's
That's
probably like a
84
lot of
cents
money.
40 years ago.
Yeah, it's $35,000
No.
today. So it's still it's terrible. It's terrible. So it's,
And they're,
it's definitely
and they're
not
in New York
worth that.
City.
Yeah.
They're living in New York City. Come on.
It's
You can't
def-
live in New York City today for $35,000.
I don't
can't
think,
even
I don't
rent a
think you can
closet.
live in New York City for $350,000.
No.
Yeah. I like when Egon came out from under Janine's desk.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I actually put that in my notes. I'm like, so it's weird that they set that kind of Janine Egon thing up because
Yeah.
there was the scene
She
where he was
clearly
hugging
had a
her
thing
and
for-
stuff like
yeah.
because they never explore it anymore in the movie.
It was
in
taken
the
out.
in the next movie, she's with Rick Moranis. I think it's been a long since I've seen
Yeah, I
part two.
haven't
so I
seen
remember,
two.
like-
I thought that I haven't seen two in a while, but
I don't remember, but Tara wants to watch it.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know.
Well, now I think I have to go back and watch all. Like, I'll watch them all now. I've never seen any of the other ones except part 2, but now I'm like,
I've
I guess
only
I
seen
should go back
part
and
2
watch
as well.
I've seen part 2 when I was younger, but then I saw the female, all
the Kristen
female
Wiig
one.
yep.
I didn't see that. I
And
saw
then-
like 10 minutes
I didn't
of it.
like that, but then I saw the new not Frozen Empire. That's the one that's in the theater now. I saw the one before
Afterlife
the
or something?
Afterlife.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
haven't
one
seen
from
that.
3 years ago or whatever.
I haven't seen any Ghostbusters movie, but
Afterlife was good.
to me, this one is just like perfect.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I don't have any
definitely. The second
problems
one,
with
I remember kind of liking, but it wasn't. It wasn't as good as the first one.
Oh, the
by
second
any
one's not
means.
as good as the
No.
second one. And it was also 5 years later. It was not until 1989.
Oh,
the
really?
sequel.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
no one wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I remember
And they
Bobby
did
Brown
that.
did the song for that one.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow, jeez.
Yeah.
It's not,
I
it's
remember
not
that.
as,
remember
it's not
it
as
very
memorable
well.
as
No.
It's not as memorable, not
It
rememberable.
doesn't it involve like her kid or something like
Yeah,
that.
she has a kid.
Man. And is
And
it
the
Bill Murray's
painting,
kid?
there's the ghost comes out of the painting.
Yes, he's like a
'Cause
conquistador
all
or
of a
something
sudden
like
she
that.
works in a museum or something.
And what was
I
she
don't
in
know.
this? Did they say what she was in?
She
this?
was in a orchestra.
Oh, right. She was like a
Right?
violin player.
Yeah,
or
because
something
the guy
like
that
Yep.
Yeah,
makes
he had
fun
that,
of is
yeah.
another musician.
That guy's somebody too. The guy that Bill Murray was
Oh,
like.
He
I
looks
didn't
familiar. I've
recognize
seen
him.
his
Yeah.
stuff too.
He's like from
He's another character
like a
actor.
one-off kind of guy. Like
Yeah.
he's somebody.
You would see him
but
in
who
like
knows?
1 or 2 episodes of like Mr. Belvedere, and then he was in the next week. He was in Cape
Yeah,
Valley.
Yeah.
You know, I like that scene where the guy goes, "What are you supposed to be? Some kind of cosmonaut?" and it's
Oh,
like,
when they're
no,
down on the
he's like, "Yeah, we're
elevator."
exterminators." He said somebody saw a cockroach up on 12, and he says, "That must be some cockroach." And then Bill Murray has a good line because he said, "Yeah, bite your head off."
Yeah, don't bite your. Oh, right before they get in the elevator. Yeah.
I thought it was weird how they showed that first. They got the ghost in that first one, the Slimer, in the ballroom there, which was a great scene when they're just like destroying all the stuff in the ballroom,
Yeah.
and that's where they learn not to cross streams and stuff like that. And they immediately just went right to a montage of all their other captures. They never show you again them ever capturing another ghost, and I'm just like, huh. They should
I
have,
like more of that where they're putting him in the.
They should have shown
Yeah.
at least one more capture, I think, before they went into the montage, because they did it so
Yeah.
fast. This movie flew by. I felt like
It's very fast. It's only an hour 45
all
minutes.
of a sudden,
but, yeah.
when the EPA guy comes to shut things down, I know that's going to set up the finale. That's the beginning of the end. I'm
But
like,
it feels
wow,
like they
like
get
this
to
is
the
happening
Yeah.
already.
They get to the very end. It feels like really quick.
Yeah, they do.
I thought this was like an hour and 45 minutes. It felt like it was like 90, if not less than that. You know, it just all of a sudden the end was happening. I'm like, I felt there was more to this movie.
As much as I love this movie, I have to talk about how bad that CGI was when
With
Rick
the
Moranis
dogs?
is running out of the
Yeah,
house.
with the dogs.
That was
Yeah,
terrible, yeah.
That was
That's-
the one thing where I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
The dog.
I wonder, like, if they could have made it look better. I mean, obviously we had already seen like
I mean, he could
Star
have had
Wars stuff
better-
look better.
yeah.
Yep.
It was better than Dune, though.
Oh,
1914. Yeah, it was better than that one.
yeah.
That dog scene jumping on the table looked terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. That was the
like
worst
the only,
one.
that was the only thing though where I was like everything else I was perfectly
Of
fine
course,
with. That
yeah.
that was just like
I mean,
yeah,
the power
it was
pack
rough.
things look good. The
Yeah.
lasers
Oh, yeah.
look
The
very
Stay
good.
the
Puft Marshmallow
beams.
Man looks awesome.
Oh, my
I think.
God.
I mean, come on.
So how did they? Was that a model? That was a
I believe so,
person in
yeah.
a suit walking down a
Yeah, I
mall
think it was
in the
like.
city? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how big it was or not, but it was a model.
Because I mean, nowadays they just CGI it. I'm sure Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's been the bad guy in every single other Ghostbuster movie, but
They had the mini ones in Afterlife.
They did?
A whole bunch of minis.
Oh,
I
that's
thought
cute.
until like probably
But they're-
a month
they're
ago
evil.
that Stay Puft marshmallows were a real thing. Like I thought that was a real marshmallow brand until like so recently, and I was disappointed.
That was just the
I was
name
so
of the
sad.
character.
Yeah.
I wonder why it's not.
I thought it was like a real.
They make everything else real these days.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the Michelin
You
Man
could probably
people
get- you
didn't
could probably
sue
get
them
that,
for
right?
using that. That was like the Michelin Man's coming at them. I'm
It's
like,
probably
same
like an
thing.
action figure or Pop Funko
Oh,
or something
sure
like
there
that.
is.
Yeah.
My favorite scene in the whole, like I guess my favorite more like collective part is the beginning at the library. Just because they're so bad, like you're watching them, you're like,
Yeah.
oh my god, yeah, these guys are idiots.
Here's my plan.
Yeah.
Get her.
When he was sitting there, he was like tapping under the table when they
Yeah.
came in, and he slammed on the table.
Well, it's just so funny that like you're seeing a ghost for the first time, and they're just standing there, just like just bumbling in the alley or in the
Or
walkway.
how about when they were in the ballroom and the doors were locked, and that guy wanted to get in there so
Yeah.
bad,
Yeah.
and he just keep hearing things crashing and breaking.
And the woman's like yelling. He's like, "Don't worry, the
You'll
room
be
will be ready
ready."
for your party." Like, it's not going to be ready for the party.
Get the key.
One of the funnier lines in this, and I don't want to be quoting lines, but when he says, "Ray, explain this to someone who doesn't know chemistry, biology, or physics, and where he just looks at me and say, "You never did any of the readings at school, did you?" It's like, no.
It says here the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man suits cost approximately $20,000 each. 3 of them were made, and all 3 were destroyed during filming.
Wow.
So there's none of them that survived.
I'm surprised
yeah.
they didn't. I mean, one of them obviously.
You would
got
think they would try to
destroyed,
save it, you know?
You know when the ground like cracks open and like opens up right in front
right
of
before they go up.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
before they go
That
up.
looked really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
good.
really
That was
good. I
good.
was really impressed.
And they also said Dan Aykroyd said they referred to Slimer as the ghost of John Belushi. So that was a...
So he did make it into
Yeah.
the movie. Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
I love Slimer. Was he in the second one?
I think he was.
And he
remember.
was, because he was a big part of the cartoon.
Yeah.
And, like, he went on their adventures with them. And
Well, it became
yeah.
Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters eventually. The
Okay.
show changed names because
All right,
he
yeah.
became like the breakout star.
Yeah.
But as I was explaining to you before we went on the air,
We're so cool.
Just like how I just brought that up casually.
after this movie came out, there was a cartoon and it was called The Real Ghostbusters. And I remember at the time being like, that's weird that they called it The Real Ghostbusters. And there was another cartoon called Ghostbusters.
And they were aired at the same time?
And they were at the same time, same like in The Real Ghostbusters, the one with, our guys in it was successful, the other one was not. But I just remember being like, why was that a thing?
Why was there a need
How could
for
they
it?
possibly have done
Yeah.
another Ghostbusters? So I
Who
looked
were
up
the okay.
today. I looked it up. There was a TV show in 1975 called Ghostbusters.
Oh.
So whoever owns that had the rights to the name. In fact, whoever did this movie has to pay
Ivan Reitman then? I guess?
Columbia or Paramount or whoever it was. They had to
Studio, yeah.
pay to get the rights of the name Ghostbusters to do it in this. So when this movie became super successful, all they did was get the rights to the TV show, or to the movie. So the company that owned the name was like, well, now we're going to capitalize on this. So they did the cartoon. So when these guys wanted to do the cartoon, they had to change the name to The Real Ghostbusters because they couldn't, for the show, call it
Yeah.
The Real
That's
Ghostbusters. Or
interesting.
they couldn't call it Ghostbusters. But also, whatever they paid them like $500,000 for the rights to the name. And then they said, and 1% of the gross. Ooh. And they never paid. They said because of creative accounting, they took a loss on this movie somehow. I don't know how Hollywood does that, but
Wow.
they never.
Well, that's like Hollywood just scrapped that Batgirl.
Yeah,
movie.
they just-
They're just like, we're not going to, it's all done, but
Yeah.
they're like, we're not going to air it, and they're scrapping it. Why wouldn't you just put that on a streamer?
They made more
Yeah.
money with
Makes
the
no
insurance
sense.
claim than
Yeah,
they
writing
did
it off,
actually.
yeah.
But yeah, somehow they were able to say this movie that made like $300 million lost them money, and they never had to pay the 1% of the profits to the
Oh my
other
God.
company. Yeah, that's crazy, right?
The voice of Dana Zool was performed by director Ivan Reitman, and Sigourney Weaver recalled that one time she had a fire in her apartment shortly after the movie, and the firemen came to put it out. One of them opened up her refrigerator and said, "Whoa, you better call the Ghostbusters."
Oh my God.
It must suck being famous like that. Like just like Jerry Seinfeld in the final Curb episode where the guy's talking to him at the bar. And like Jerry Seinfeld can't go anywhere.
How about when he looks at that guy in his face? He just reckons,
It's got to be annoying to be famous.
when they were
Yeah.
talking,
Super
at the
famous.
bar, and they were just like, and he's like, yeah, and they just start giggling to each other.
Oh, that was great, man. Yeah, the two of them should do something together.
I would love that.
One of my favorite scenes, I think the ballroom scene was my favorite. But my second favorite scene was the scene where they were in jail and they had the schematics of the building on the table. Somehow they were able to bring those into the holding cell with them, and all the other guys in the lockup were just like crowding around them, like kind of like looking. And at one point, Bill Murray's like, "Back off," but then they back off, and then as they like kind of they all start crowding in. I was like, "That's so great."
It's
Because
Columbia.
you would do that too.
It's
You would-
Columbia Pictures.
Columbia, okay.
Yeah.
I also love the scene in the mayor's office, like
Oh,
when everyone's just like
Yes.
together
Yeah.
coming up with
Yeah.
a plan. Yeah, because the cats and dogs mass hysteria.
right. Dogs and cats living together.
Harold Ramis made it a choice not to smile as Egon, except then he does smile in the sequel, though.
I didn't notice
Yeah, I
that
was
he
gonna
didn't
say, I
smile.
noticed
He is always like.
Well,
Yeah.
now that you say that, yeah, he definitely never.
Well, he was like this super smart nerd. He was like the one that
Yeah,
actually
he was
knew
the
what
one-
he was
yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
They look to him for the answer.
Yes.
So at the end, clear your mind. Don't think of anything. So when Bill
that's
Murray
not
says,
possible.
when Bill Murray says, if you think of J. Edgar Hoover, J. Edgar Hoover's going to show up.
He should have shown
J.
up.
Edgar Hoover
Yeah.
should have been the one that shows up, because just by saying that, you're thinking about him, and J. Edgar
And
Hoover
that's the
should have
thing.
been right there.
You know, I've always thought about that point in the movie all the time. And people
Yeah.
always say, clear your mind. I don't think clearing your mind is actually possible.
Well,
I don't think there's
especially
one
when it tells
person
you
on the
someone to do
planet
it.
who has ever been able to clear their mind. It's not possible. It always drives me nuts.
What about that transcendental
No.
meditation?
No,
Meditation,
you
or
still,
whatever.
your mind is not clear.
But-
it's not possible.
Try to clear your mind when someone says, clear your mind. You're like,
Exactly.
Oh, even
Like,
then,
you
if you're
start
being
thinking of
asked to
something.
do it, forget
No.
that.
And it's such a funny reveal though of the Marshmallow
It
Man
is
coming
great.
Oh my
out.
god.
It's so perfectly
And it's so
done.
cute too. It's like such a cute little
And he's like,
guy
saying,
walking around
what
there.
did you do?
and the way Bill Murray's like interrogating everybody. Did you do it? Did you do it? Did you-"
Yeah.
And then Dan Aykroyd's just kind of like, oh, I thought of something from my childhood.
Oh.
Michael Keaton turned down the roles of both Venkman and Spengler.
Interesting.
He could have been
Interesting.
Venkman.
I think he could have been a decent
Yeah.
Ghostbuster, yeah.
I would have definitely loved to see this movie with John Belushi. I feel John Belushi would have been
John Belushi would have been
amazing
insane in this
part.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Bill Murray part, like they would have had. I mean, I guess he could have been the leading man hitting on Sigourney Weaver, but that wouldn't be very believable. Not that Bill Murray is much more believable, but
He's a
No.
lot shorter, too,
Yeah.
Belushi.
so at the end,
You know who else would have sued? You said Michelin Man, right?
Yeah.
The Pillsbury Doughboy.
Oh, yeah.
sued, too.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. At the end, after they've killed the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and everybody's getting up with all the marshmallow on him, Bill Murray has like a little bit in his hair. I was like, did he have that in his contract? He's like, I'm not putting that shit all over me, because
Sigourney Weaver had a lot on her
everybody
head.
is covered from
Yeah.
head to toe, and he's just got like a little.
Well, he
thing
got
right across
slimed
his head.
earlier in the movie.
He did get slimed earlier.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
He said, "That's it. I'm not putting that shit on."
No
me
more,
again."
man. That shit stunk.
I guess being a kid, I didn't pay attention to a lot of the details because who cares why the building was haunted. But this is the first time I ever heard why the building
Why
was.
was that specific building?
I don't think I ever heard that before or even knew they explained it. You know, being a kid, you don't pay attention to shit like that. You just want to see the
Yeah.
action.
But if you asked me to explain why it's that
no, I
building, I
forget.
wouldn't be able to tell you why.
Last
But
night I thought about
there
it
was
and
a
I was like,
reason
oh, I
why.
should remember it. And I've already forgotten.
it was
I have no
because it
idea.
was built a certain way.
It
or
was
something
built a
like
certain,
that, right?
yeah, something like that.
This movie and Gremlins 2 made me so terrified of gargoyles as like a kid.
Coming to
And,
life
like
and
I
stuff
still
like that.
kind of like don't like them. Like when I see gargoyles.
So you never watched the Gargoyles TV show?
No.
Did you like Gremlins 1?
Oh, I love Gremlins. That's one of
Yeah.
my. That's one of my favorite.
We're doing
movies.
that later this year.
Oh well, oh man, Gremlins is awesome. I was gonna
It is.
say about talk about the Gremlins theme, but then I'm thinking like we should talk about the Ghostbusters theme. Like
Right?
that
Bring
song
that
is
up.
so.
How Ray
Yeah.
I
Parker
don't
Jr.
know.
got
Got
sued.
sued? Did he lose? Did
He lost
really
that.
did?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Not only did he lose, but
He still has to pay every
well, not anymore, because apparently there was a confidentiality agreement, and Huey Lewis was interviewed like 10, 15 years ago, and
Oh, he said
spilled
something?
everything, and Ray Parker sued him now because he wasn't supposed to say anything. So now I'm a big Huey Lewis fan, and I remember
Yeah.
when
I am too.
this lawsuit came out, I'm like, does that song really sound like I Want a New Drug? But I guess like
It
it's
does.
the exact same bass line
Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
if you listen to it, it's definitely there, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but apparently they used I Want a New Drug as the temp track when they were doing the movie. And then when
Oh.
they hired Ray Parker, I think they wanted Huey Lewis to do the theme, and he was doing Back to the Future or something like that. He was doing something else. And when they hired Ray Parker, they're like, make it sound like this song. Here, we've got this song already in there. Make
Yeah.
it sound like that. So Ray Parker just said, I'll change the lyrics to that music.
The original
Really, what did
title
Ray
for
Parker
this.
ever do besides that song? Like,
Dan
Yeah,
Aykroyd had a
nothing.
different title for this originally. He had Ghost Smashers was the original
Smashers.
title.
That's not as good.
That's not good. No,
No.
that's not good.
And he had
That Buster's emblem, the line with
Yeah.
that became like a part of
it was
the culture
Yeah.
of the
T-shirts,
world.
it was buttons,
But it
everything.
became everything else that was getting eliminated had that little symbol
Yep.
around it. I don't think
Yep.
that existed before.
Wait, really?
Ghostbusters.
I didn't know that.
I don't know. I don't know if it ever did before. But it
But-
became such
it was
a thing
big.
after
It was,
that.
yeah, it was like, you know how the Simpsons became like you saw T-shirts and everything, just
Yeah.
toys and everything everywhere. Yeah. But Christopher Walken, John Lithgow, Christopher Lloyd, and Jeff Goldblum were all considered for Egon.
Christopher Lloyd would have been great.
That's crazy. That's
Jeff
For
Goldblum
legendary
might have worked
Goldblum would have
too.
been
Yeah.
good. Yeah, yeah. He's got the right amount of kind of like clueless, like
I could just think of his eyes being like, "What?"
When Bill Murray was at her apartment the first time with the wand, just like going around, she's like, "What's that?" He's like, "It's science stuff or whatever." It's, like, it's important equipment. And I was just like, "What does he actually?"
It looks like he was spraying for bugs.
It did look like that. I was like, "Is he using exterminator's
Like,
equipment?"
what do you do with that? He didn't even know what he did with that. This was released the same day as Gremlins.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And Dan Aykroyd was inspired to write the script for the film after living in a house that was allegedly haunted by the ghost of
Christmas Past.
John Belushi.
Mama Cass Elliot.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
from the Mamas and the Papas.
Choked on ham sandwich.
All the leaves are brown, the leaves are brown,
And the sky is gray.
Oh, and blue.
The
I'm
mom
sorry.
of Mackenzie Phillips?
You were
I messed up.
thinking happy thoughts.
What's that?
The mom of
Mamas and the
Mackenzie
Papas.
Phillips? She's the
Mom
mom?
was Michelle
No.
Phillips. Yeah.
Oh, Michelle Phillips is the mom. Right, okay,
Yeah.
right.
Mama of
No, not Mama Cass. She
Oh,
was not.
okay.
She was in the
She was
Mamas and the
Cass
Papas,
Elliot, then
Yeah.
Michelle Phillips,
and John Phillips.
John Phillips.
But she didn't
and-
have any kids.
No, she died
I didn't think so.
kind of young.
Yeah.
She
Not
was-
27, but like maybe like 30.
Yeah.
No, Cass was in the 27 Club.
Was she
I
really?
think, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Aw.
There was that
I
ham
think she's in the
sandwich.
27 Club, yeah. Adjusted for inflation, this would be the 32nd highest gross.
Wow.
Wow, so this is...
What did better, this or Gremlins?
Yeah, I'm surprised
I
they
don't know.
both came out on the
didn't see
same
that.
day, and they were both super successful. Usually one
look
movie dominates, when you put two out.
Chevy Chase also turned down the role of the Venkman.
This was at his height. He hadn't even done Fletch yet, so he still had some good years
He
left in
didn't.
him.
He didn't do the movie, but he was in the video. Ray Parker Jr.'s video.
Yeah.
When they had
He
all this-
was?
Do you remember
Yeah.
the video? Do you ever see the video?
No.
So the song, that goes through, and at the end when they're just like, "Who you gonna call?"
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
It's another celebrity just yelling Ghostbusters.
They're like
had
on
a
the
lot of
street.
big
They're on like
time-
the streets in New York, and they're just putting the
They had
microphone.
a lot of
in
big
front
time
of them.
celebrities.
And Chevy Chase.
Chevy
Chevy
Chase
Chase
is
was
one of them.
yeah.
I remember Carly Simon was one of them, and geez, I don't even remember now who else was.
Let me tell you, the music video for the song Ghostbusters featured numerous celebrities who didn't appear in the film, including
I think I
Chevy
remember
Chase,
this now. Yeah.
Chevy Chase, Irene Cara,
Okay.
John Candy, Melissa Gilbert, Ollie E. Brown, Jeffrey Tambor,
Oh my God!
George Wendt, Al Franken, Danny DeVito, Carly Simon, Peter Falk,
Damn, I don't remember a lot
I
of these
think
people
they
being
were
in
just
it.
saying
And-
Ghostbusters
Yeah, they were.
in that
And-
part, right?
and Terry Garr.
Really?
Yeah.
But I don't remember most of them. I remember Chevy Chase for sure. I remember Carly Simon. I remember... Man, I couldn't even say I remember Danny DeVito. That's nuts. Yeah,
That's
great
fun.
great video. They should have had
You should
Huey
watch
Lewis.
Watch the video
Oh,
later.
yeah, I'll look that up.
It would have been great if they got Huey Lewis to sing Ghostbusters, I think.
It says Huey Lewis turned down an offer to write and record a theme song for Ghostbusters. They later sued Ray Parker, but yeah, that's all I had on it. I wanted to try. I thought it maybe had. Yeah, it's a different chord sequences, different refrains, and a different bridge.
Yeah, I don't know what stealing in music is anymore.
This was my favorite.
There's only so
person.
many chords.
Yeah.
Somebody turned down the role of Peter Venkman to star in Police Academy.
Gutenberg?
Yeah,
Okay.
Gutenberg could have been a
successful.
Ghostbuster.
Yeah, but that was...
Police Academy was not as successful as Ghostbusters.
certainly not even close, but that made him a star. Like
True.
That made him...
But I think it
this
might
one
have
made
been
him a
bigger,
star, too.
yeah.
That's crazy that they... Like, before Bill Murray, they went after Steve Gutenberg? That's...
He was big then, though. I think.
Was he?
I think he was very popular back
I
then.
don't
Yeah.
even know if he did anything before Police Academy. Oh, I guess Police Academy came out this year in 1984 because we already did that one.
Oh, you did that one already.
Well,
That
we
was
did it a couple of years
We
ago,
did that before we did 82 though, because it was Katie had recommended it at the Super Bowl party or whatever, and then we did it. Yeah.
All the talk about Huey Lewis, I literally just only think of like American Psycho.
Oh, yeah.
That's literally all I can think about.
Did you ever see the?
I definitely thought of that when I was watching.
Did you ever see the parody when it's Weird Al and Huey Lewis?
No.
And Huey Lewis is the Christian Bale character, and Weird Al is the Jared Leto character, and they start talking about
I feel
Weird
like I
Al
actually have
ripping
seen
him
this.
off and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Oh my god, it's very funny. It was. I think it was a Funny or Die thing. I mean, it's only that scene, and then Huey Lewis kills
Yeah.
Weird Al.
Gutenberg was in Diner before.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Miracle on Ice.
So he wasn't a nobody.
He was also in Miracle on Ice.
Well,
He played Jim Craig. He was the announcer.
but that was many years later that movie came out.
81. Miracle on Ice.
Wow, really? I remember the Kurt Russell one. That I didn't know they did.
This was a TV movie.
I
right
did
here.
not know they did that. And that was
Carl Malden.
Kurt Russell one was called Miracle anyway, but
He played Jim
same
Craig.
story. Wow, Jim Craig.
What's your
Gold for the
favorite
US.
performance in this movie, do you think?
Well, I mean, Annie Potts is great in her, but I would say Rick Moranis. Rick
I think it's a Rick
Yeah.
Moranis as well, yeah. And Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, she was great too. Like all the guys are just kind of like the straight men. All the nonsense is going on around them.
I thought you would have gave it to Ernie.
No, well,
His delivery of when Dan Aykroyd says he's not, he's like, she's like, are you a god?
Yeah.
And he's like, no.
Ray. Ray.
They
It's weird that
the
they
way he
gave-
screams at him when someone asks you if you're a god.
It's weird they gave him
yes.
some of the good lines because you would figure the other guys
Yeah.
would be like, you're just background.
Well, he
characters."
his background, and then he's just kind of there now,
Yep.
and you're just like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
Lindsey Buckingham was approached to write the theme song, but he declined because he said he didn't want to become the guy who's writing all the movie theme songs because he did Holiday Road.
Yeah.
He didn't want to become that guy.
Like Kenny Loggins eventually became.
Yeah.
Because Kenny
Okay.
Loggins
He's
in
like
every
5
freaking
of them.
80s movie.
Yeah.
They also considered Tom Hanks and Robin Williams for Peter Venkman.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't pick
Wow,
Robin
man!
Williams.
Like
Everybody got considered for
I
this
mean, like
movie.
Yeah.
every one of these movies that we do, like the casting sheet is just like 1,000 people that you know. I mean, it's just. I mean, I wonder what it means. Do they just call all the agents and be like, what's Tom Hanks doing? He's
It sounds like in
never
the
mind,
80s, it was just like, is it going to be Bill Murray or Chevy Chase?
Yeah.
for these kinds of movies, but like when we did The Outsiders and we were going over their cast, like all those guys,
Yep.
like Rob Lowe was up for every single movie that Kevin Bacon was up for, that Tom Cruise was up for. They're all up for the same movies.
I do know
It's just-
somebody that did not like watching Ghostbusters, though. Gilda Radner once complained that she found Ghostbusters difficult to watch because stars Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Harold Ramis were all ex-boyfriends of hers.
Oh,
Really? It's kind of out with every one of them.
Well, she
but that's-
probably did things here and there when she was on the set.
That
of
is
this
like
and that,
awesome to
yeah.
have been with all the Ghostbusters.
Do you think like
I feel
Gene
that's-
Wilder's just sitting there being like, so what did you do with Bill Murray?
So what was it like being with Dan Aykroyd?
Is Dan Aykroyd still married to Donna Dixon? Are they still together
I
after
think they
all
are,
these
yeah.
many years? Man,
This
that's
was
crazy.
included among the American Film Institute's 2001 list of 400 movies nominated for the top 100 most heart-pounding American
oh my
movies.
God, that isn't. I need a
top
breakdown of
400
that.
of the
Can you
top
repeat-
100.
There were 400 finalists that made it into the top 100. I guess they didn't make it into the top 100, but they were in the finals.
Well, have you seen the AFI's top 100 movies of all time list?
No, not
It
really.
Yes,
is like-
not recently, but
I mean, there's like
It's probably
they
ridiculous.
always put like
It's-
Citizen Kane as
it-
number one all the
it's
time.
all the like the top 10 is probably like all movies before
Yeah, Black
1960.
Black and White.
It's probably like
Yeah.
Metropolis
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time to modernize, guys. That's why the IMDb one's better because that's like
Lord-
voted by regular people.
Lord of the Rings were the most recent on
Wow,
there.
really?
And then I don't know how many 90s movies are on there, but
But
Yeah.
that list you were saying was the top heart pounding ones. That would be a different
Yeah.
list. That would be
That- I
that would
wouldn't
be
say Ghostbusters was
Raiders of the Lost
heart-pounding.
Ark and
yeah,
stuff
I
like that.
also I was like,
Yeah, I
it's a
don't think it
weird
was that
word to
yeah,
describe
that-
Ghostbusters.
There's not
No.
enough time to be like anxious about
Yeah.
something.
It's
you
just
know?
They're never in
It's like-
danger until like the last 2 minutes of the movie,
Yeah.
And
and then
none
it's
of
over.
none of the scary things that are supposed to be scary were actually scary.
Oh, no.
Slimer wasn't scary.
No.
Zool wasn't scary. You know, all those things. They weren't scary.
The dogs were the
The
scariest.
Stay
you know
Puft
what I
wasn't
mean?
scary. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the Rick Moranis scene where he's getting chased through the Tavern in the Green might be considered scary just because I'd be scared in that situation, but it's because
was
it's
comical,
Rick Moranis.
yeah.
It's
so
not
silly.
like I can watch it now and I'm like, yeah, it's not scary at all. But
No.
because it's one of those things that scared me as a kid, when I watch it, I still kind of feel
I
like
can see where
it's
you
one of
might
those
have
weird
that,
things
yeah.
where I'm like, that's not scary, but for some reason it's
Yeah.
still unsettling me. Because like what's the Zool when you first see it and like the opens the fridge and the
Yep.
portals in there, that scared me so bad as a kid. I was like afraid of the fridge.
It's funny because I remember even at the time being when I saw this like years ago being confused like what am I looking at there because like they opened the fridge
Yeah.
and now I'm like what is that supposed to be a house or a
Yeah.
building or
It's like
what?
a
am I-
square.
I'm like I'm not
It's
even
like
sure what
a-
I'm
yeah,
looking
it's just-
at.
it's
But then
Wasn't
she
it
said
like Grover?
later- What's that?
Grover was the bad guy.
Grover?
She was. Zool was just.
You mean Gozer?
Gozer?
Does
Yeah.
it say Grover from
oh,
Sesame
and
Street?
Zool was like the key.
Zool was just the key master, the gatekeeper.
or the
Yeah.
gatekeeper.
One of them.
Whatchamacallit, Jay Leno also read for Louis Tully. He read for the Rick
Louis
Moranis
Tul-
part.
Oh God!
Jay
Thank
Leno.
God.
Oh, no.
That did not happen.
Oh my God, gee,
That would have been weird. Sandra Bernhardt was originally offered the role of Janine.
Oh, no good. I've never been a big Sarah Bernhardt
No.
fan. I don't like her for some reason.
No, when she says like we got one. That's like so iconic. I feel like that's like.
Actor Ernie Hudson's image was omitted on early publicity posters for the movie.
Yeah, because who was he? No one knew who he was, so I can see why
But
they
to
would have
bring,
forgotten
like,
him.
when you have the three main characters, and then midway through a movie just to bring in a fourth one,
It was very
It was
strange,
strange,
right?
yeah.
And
Daryl Hannah, Denise Crosby, and Kelly LeBrock auditioned for the role of Dana.
Denise Crosby, Jesus, man, that's
I don't
crazy.
think I know who Denise Crosby
Yeah,
is.
she was in Star Trek Next Generation.
Yeah,
she was in
no.
Walking
I don't think she was.
Dead, but I mean,
Daryl
she's
Hannah,
a
was
nobody.
cute.
compared
Kelly
to herself.
LeBrock was definitely hot, but I don't know if she would have fit into that role for that.
You know what it is? Sigourney
Weird
Weaver just had a
Science.
sophistication
The-
to her
the chicken Weird
that I don't
Science.
think Kelly
I-
LeBrock could have had.
Yeah, no, I think Sigourney
know?
Weaver was perfect for this.
Yeah.
And
I think so too. Yeah, Sigourney Weaver wanted to do it too because she was doing too many serious movies, so she wanted something a little more.
Yeah.
when I saw Sigourney Weaver in Galaxy Quest, Tim Allen and Alan Rickman, and it's a great movie. Great
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
comedy.
I've heard of it, yeah.
It's a Star Trek parody movie, and she is so hot in that. I
I know
remember
Dana's not going to watch it. Parody.
No.
Yeah,
Especially
well,
Tim Allen.
But it's not like
Well, I
you know,
can't
it's
stand
not,
Tim
No,
Allen.
but it's not a parody. It's an homage, let's say, to Star Trek.
I know.
And
I
so-
think I've seen bits
but
and
she
pieces of
is
this movie.
so hot in that. I remember when I saw that, and this is like in the '90s. I'm like, when did Sigourney Weaver look so good? I could never remember her looking
Yeah.
good, but she looks really good in this movie. I
Yeah.
keep going back to that because last
She
night I
still
was
looks
shocked.
good now.
I was like,
yeah, she was in
Yeah.
a movie a few years ago with Jamie Lee Curtis, and she looked great. She
I
looked
mean,
really,
I
really
saw
good.
an Avatar, but that was now like 10 years ago when
Yeah.
that came out.
I
But-
got one more person that was supposed or tried out for Louis Tully, the Rick Moranis role. Eddie Deason.
Now I can see him working in this part because he's got that nerd.
He's our male guy. We have Terry Gar's our female for
Yeah.
this year, and Eddie Deason.
Eddie Deason. He's Eugene from Grease, and he was also in.
Grease too.
Yeah, he's in Grease
what did we
too.
do this year that he was in? Midnight Man.
Midnight Madness. Yeah.
He was awesome. In
And what?
Midnight
Oh wait,
Man.
Yeah.
wasn't he in? What movie did we do? What was the Matthew Broderick movie we did?
War Games.
War Games.
Oh, he was in that?
He was in that.
War Games.
That was really good.
I'm clarifying this for Brady because I don't think Brady knows who Eddie Deason is.
I did
It's
the
not.
voice
And
for
Jason
it.
just did a perfect impression of him.
He did.
I'm ready for scores if you kids are, unless you got anything else.
I don't have anything else.
Got
I
anything
don't
else you
think.
want to add?
I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to think of nothing
I,
happens.
as a kid, I thought for a long time, I don't even know how old I was when I found out that he wasn't called the State Puff Marshmallow Man because I thought that was
you
his
didn't hear it
name.
right. Yeah.
I don't know where I
But
got
I
it
remember
from.
being surprised just now when I saw it last night that it stayed puffed. I thought it was
Yeah.
Stay Puff. I thought it was
Yeah.
Stay Puff Marshmallow Man, but it's
Yeah,
Stay Puffed.
puffed.
Or, and
Well,
if
it's
you
like
heard,
apostrophe D, right?
it's
T.
P-U-F-T.
P-U-F-T, okay.
Because when you hear it, you would think
puffed
almost
it
it's
up.
like P-U-F-F-E-D, almost like
Yeah.
puffed. You would think.
Okay.
That, yeah.
The only other note I have at all is I don't think the EPA had that kind of power to be able to
Yeah.
like shut businesses down, just based on some court order. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't think the EPA.
They would
could
not
do
have
that.
got a court order
It would
in New
take
York City that
years
quick.
of
Yeah.
years of lawsuits for that to happen.
Oh, I guess
but
the
yeah, speed
car.
movie alone.
I love the
Oh,
car.
Oh, yeah. I have
Car's
some Lego
amazing.
set.
Oh,
Do you?
Yeah, I built the
Yeah.
Lego set. Yeah,
I
it's
love
awesome.
that car. It's
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
I liked it when it was all beat up when he first brought it back.
They don't really show him fixing it.
No,
We
there's
don't
no
see any of
montage
that, yeah.
of him making over the
I would
making
like
over the
that.
car.
every
Yeah,
single thing that was. he's
That
like-
would have been a fun
And
montage.
it
though.
Yeah.
He said it was like, what did he say, like $4,000, something like that? I'm like, that is
Yeah.
a lot back then for a piece of shit
Yeah.
car. They're going to put $10,000 into it with all the things he was rattling off. I was like, oh my
And I
God.
love when they're first like looking for places and they find what they're eventually gonna buy. I like Dan Aykroyd walking around like in love
And
with
he-
the
and he
place.
goes
Yeah,
down
yeah, they were like asking questions like, I don't know about this.
Yeah,
And, like,
and he
he's
slides
just-
down
I
the
love
pole.
it.
He's like falling in love with it. Yeah.
Oh, that was another thing I was wondering. If Bill
Let's
Murray-
stay here tonight.
I wonder if Bill Murray had this contract. He wasn't going down that pole because they showed Dan Aykroyd go down it. They show Hal Ramis go down it, but they show Bill Murray kind of like very much at the end of him coming down
So
the pole.
he wouldn't
I
do
was-
it? What a
I don't know.
dick.
I have absolutely no idea. I just
I'm
wondered.
calling it right now. You're a dick,
It was a
Bill
weird.
Murray.
It was a weird
or
cutaway.
he just
'cause
couldn't do it.
They showed Dan Aykroyd come when they get their first call, and they're like,
Dan
and
Aykroyd
they
was
just-
loving it.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd
It
comes
looked
down.
like it was going like this when
was,
Aykroyd
yeah,
was
yeah.
on.
and they kind of follow Dan Aykroyd to the lockers, and you could just see Bill Murray kind of like hopping off of the pole, and then they went back up and they showed Hal Ramis coming down it again. I'm like, why did they show Bill Murray coming down? I'm like,
Yeah.
I just Bill Murray said no.
What a
Because he's a
dick.
dick.
There was a park near me as a kid, and I'm sure, I don't know if it's still there, but they had one of those poles. It wasn't obviously that long, that tall.
Yeah.
I could never do it. So maybe he couldn't do it either.
I always loved that. At
couldn't
the
do
top of
it.
the slide, yeah, I would go down that pole.
No way.
You saw Dan Aykroyd do it the right way. Put your elbow into it. You can't do it with your hands
Yeah,
on it.
you're
And
gonna do
that's
your
probably
hands
how I was
Yeah.
trying
Yeah,
to
you're
do
gonna
it.
be all like.
Yeah.
And do you know why
rip
there's
off the skin?
Do you know why
Yeah.
they have poles in firehouses? Do you know the reason for that? Do you know the reason for that? Do you know?
So I could get to this.
Is it because it's
Quicker?
faster?
Back in the
downstairs?
old days, the horses would climb up the steps, so they didn't want to have steps in the firehouses.
Oh.
Before they had, fire engines, they had
Yeah.
horses, and the horses would go up the steps, and so they had like spiral staircases up, and the poles were faster getting down rather than steps, and that's still to this
Stuck.
day.
Yeah.
I feel like just build a slide at that point.
Yeah.
Right? Or like
Let's get to the scores.
Okay. So Michelle watched this with me, and Michelle
what?
gave this a score because she was like, "Oh yeah." As soon as I said, "I know you watched it, you want to give me a score," she said, "Oh yeah." She's like, "I like this movie a lot." She gave it a 90.
Oh, Migs with a 9-0. She understood the scoring.
I don't know if she understood the scoring. I think she just liked the movie, and 90 sounded like a good score to her. I would say that my score is not as high. I gave it an 85, and I think the reason I gave it an 85 is because I really didn't like Bill Murray in this movie. I wanted to punch him in his face the entire time.
You're stealing my line there because I
okay.
wanted to give this a 92, but I gave it an 88 because of Bill Murray. I didn't like his assholeness in this movie, but I do love this movie. I give it an 88, and also because of Back to the Future.
yeah. I have to say this. He definitely is a dick in this movie, especially the scene at the fountain with the musician boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I also think he's so good in it. Like he does.
I
make me
enjoyed him in it as well,
laugh
yes.
so much in it. But my score is 91.
Nice.
Wow. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So I watched it with Tara. No.
We got a Tara score.
I watched it with Tara. I did not mind Bill Murray in this movie at all. I normally don't like Bill Murray, but I thought it was fine. I gave it a 90. I love this movie.
Nice.
Tara gave it the same score that she gave Firstborn,
Was
which
that
was a
92?
92.
Right? Yeah.
So I said to her, I'm like, that's what you gave Firstborn.
She
you
likes
like this
Ghostbusters
movie
and Firstborn
as much as Firstborn. And she's like, yeah, okay.
And what did she give Johnny Dangerously? Did she not? She didn't watch it
didn't
with you,
watch
right?
it.
Yeah, she noped out on that, right?
Yeah. Well, I had to watch it on my
Dana
phone.
gets the pick, right?
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
Finally? No, because we're doing
Next,
Splash Next.
We're going to do Splash.
Splash. That's right. Yeah.
I don't want to get off topic here, but you don't
there is no
like you don't like Bill Murray. But what do you think of him in Caddyshack?
I never saw Caddyshack.
Oh my God.
Oh no, you gotta watch it.
See, I don't think Bill Murray's a dick in Caddyshack.
He's not.
He's so
Yeah.
funny. in
I mean,
Caddyshack.
and he's also like eighth build in that, so
Yeah.
he's not important to the
Yeah.
movie.
But also, he turned that movie around because it
Yep.
was supposed to be about the kids.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it
he's
was-
super
Wait,
important.
that's actually
Bill
awesome
Murray
that you
kid.
haven't seen it because now you guys should do it.
Yeah,
We should do that one.
Yeah.
Well, we need your dad on for that one. I think that's your dad's favorite.
It's his favorite movie.
Yeah, we'll have to have it
That's why I'm
Ugh.
surprised. I thought we did. I
That's
looked
too
it
much
up. We
pressure
never
because I
did.
know I'm not going to like it.
Oh my God! It's
I
such
know
a
I'm
good
going to be
movie.
like, this is the dumbest movie I've
I
ever
know
seen.
she's gonna hate it.
And there's
too,
stuff I like.
yeah.
I mean, I love Groundhog Day. It's one of my favorite movies, man. And he's awesome in that because he's such a dick. But as I'm watching this today or last night, I was like, oh, so he wasn't acting in Groundhog Day. He was just being Bill Murray.
Do we want to do a movie before Splash?
Well,
that's next Sunday.
Sunday or Saturday. I forget what it is.
Do you want to do a movie on
It's
Wednesday?
Saturday. I think you said you couldn't do Sunday, or someone couldn't do.
I
Sunday.
can't do Sunday. We're doing Saturday.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Do we want to do a movie like Tuesday or Wednesday
Yeah,
this week?
I'm fine with that. I'll do that.
I'll have to look at the list. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I can. I just don't know what movie to pick.
Okay.
I'm good for that.
So we're for Splash that's upcoming, maybe one before that, kids. So
Excellent.
download, rate, subscribe, review, do all those fun things over there on Spreaker. We're the exciting and new podcast on all of our socials. The Jazoo over on Instagram, Jazoo74 on X. This has been the exciting and new podcast, and I'm Jason. Thanks for coming on, Brady.
One of these days, I'm
Thank
going to
you
look
for
up why this music starts right away, but the intro music takes like 5 seconds to start. AE Gonzo1 on Instagram, on Twitter, AE Gonzo1970 on Instagram. I'm Andy.
Dana Caps on TikTok, Dana Caps 77 on Instagram. I'm Dana.
Brady_Alpin on Instagram, and I'm Brady.
Thanks for coming on, Mr. Al. Are you going to hang out with Logan now?
Probably.
All right, cool.